welcome all to the to the Black Column podcast.
And your show's mixed up.
Welcome to the Black Column podcast. I'm your host, Jabaya, aka the Crew Philosopher.
And I'm Shannon, aka your favorite blurred.
Yes, we are here. And yes, I did get my shows mixed up because I've been working with various people. And I do like the same opening. So I can like a pattern. But we are here for the Black Column podcast here. Your number one objectively biased, because I think me and you are both biased. We are objectively biased though.
Mm-hmm.
We are the number one objectively biased Black independent podcast, news podcast. Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay.
That's all I got. and it has been an eventful news week, but really we're talking about one day today. I mean, we all know, if you're listening to this podcast, we all know what we came here to talk about. But before we get into it, Shannon, how was your week since we last saw each other?
Oh man, my week has been crazy.
What happened?
There's just been a lot of things going on, you know. COVID is this close to my home. This close.
Really?
So we're trying to see. Yeah.
Oh, so you guys are in like getting tested?
Yeah. Well, I got tested earlier this week. It was negative. I'm gonna get tested again tomorrow. One of my mom's coworkers has it. One of my dad's coworkers' family members has it. So.
Oh, so you're like playing 6 degrees of COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. My father just got he got the vaccine.
My mom got the vaccine yesterday too, actually.
How's she feeling? Because my father had 2 side effects immediately. One was,
really?
Yeah, he had the, but it's like mild stuff, the soreness at the site of injection.
Oh, okay.
That he had, yeah. And he had a headache.
Oh, okay.
So your mom didn't have anything?
I don't know. I didn't ask her. I'll ask her. She didn't tell me.
Wow.
I spoke to. Well, no, I spoke to her.
Phenomenal daughter you are, Shannon. Phenomenal daughter.
She didn't mention having any side effects, so.
She probably was walking around the house like.
But
I wonder when my daughter, who I gave birth to, is going to ask me how I'm feeling.
No, I spoke to her already, and I know how she's feeling.
Okay. I'm glad she's not feeling any side effects. So I'm watching my father to see, to make sure everything runs smoothly. But this is the first injection. The second one is when people usually get hit bad from like the research we did before.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we'll keep an eye on that. But without further ado, we're not going to filibuster here because me and Shannon both have a lot to say, I'm assuming, about the events that took place yesterday in the nation's capital, DC, where Big Daddy Trump had a rally? Is that called a rally or a
It was being advertised as a rally, like leading up to it, and then so I guess it was supposed to be a rally, but really it was.
So let's just set it up, and then I want your opinion on this, your unfiltered Shannon opinion on this, because I'm damn sure going to give my opinion on this, and then I think we're going to have some agreement and then some large disagreements. So here's what we know. Here's what the facts are. Donald Trump was planning on having this rally or protest, whatever you want to call it, in DC on January 6th. January 6th was the date in which, the congressmen and women go into the Capitol and they certified the votes from the Electoral College, which officially makes Joe Biden the president. And so he planned his rally on that day because he believes the election was stolen from him. And so, people from many different states and cities came into DC there to join the. Shannon, you frozen?
No.
Oh, you just really still. Oh, my bad. So they came in from various cities and states to take part in this rally / protest of the certification of the vote. And then Donald Trump directs them to march on the Capitol and protest, and then they proceeded to break into the Capitol, in which Capitol Police were run over. Congressmen and women were hiding in their offices or underneath their desk. People were taking pictures at the podiums and inside of Pelosi's office and various places, stealing stands and climbing walls. It was a wild time. 4 people are dead as a result of this. One woman we know was shot by one of the Capitol Police. That policeman has been placed on administrative leave as they investigate. And so those are the data points that we have based on what happened yesterday. Now, I want Shannon to give her thoughts, her interpretations of what happened first. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to let Shannon she can go on for 20 minutes if she wants. I'm going to sit back and listen to what she has to say, and then I'm going to respond in kind, and then we will see where we align and where I know we will disagree. So, Shannon, the floor is yours.
What hypocrisy going on in this country. That's all I have to say about that. It's not even surprising. Honestly, it's not surprising. I know that you don't think this about the police, but I know this country and the policing system in this country was built on values that, well, sorry. sorry. I gotta recatch my train of thoughts. I have so many thoughts and they're just
You are very, very. Shannon got a lot of stuff inside she want to get out. I could tell.
I
Go ahead,
do.
Shannon.
I just the fact that these people were able to make it onto the Capitol steps, inside the Capitol, inside of the chambers, inside of people's offices. I don't understand how that could happen unless they just let it happen. And that is what happened. I saw videos and it kind of just looked like I was following a lot of the live streams and stuff yesterday while it was happening. And like, you could just see like when the protesters first got there, the police kind of just like stood by and just like, they kind of like moved out the way and let them go in. Like it was the evidence was there. Police in plain clothes, like plain uniforms, no riot gear. It's not like they didn't have any advance notice of this. They knew this was happening. If they just let them go in and then let them do this, and then you see videos of policemen taking selfies with the rioters when they're already when they're already on the property. You see them escorting people down the stairs. I'm just like, what the hell is happening right now? I don't understand this alternate reality. Anyway. Like we said, we knew about this for a while. I don't understand why there was no police in riot gear. I don't understand where the tear gas was, where the rubber bullets were. If this was a Black Lives Matter protest that we knew about, there would be so much more preparation from law enforcement. There'd be so much there. The National Guard would have already been called, would have already been like on guard for this. Police would have been in riot gear, just like they have been in preparation for other Black Lives Matter protests that we've seen over the summer. And like the lack of preparation for this is really mind-boggling, and I just feel like they were all in on it. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Okay, so I hear you, Shannon, and now I'm going to give my piece of what I think took place yesterday, and buckle up. So,
oh Lord.
There are so many places to start that it's hard to pick a place to start. Because I'm thinking in my mind, do I want to start with what happened yesterday? Do I want to start with what I believe created the environment where something like what happened yesterday can even happen? I don't know. So I'm going to kind of just let it all out. It might be in chronological order. I might be jumping back and forth between, what happened yesterday and what I think happened that led up to yesterday. But just know I'm going to try to make this make sense as much as possible. So initial thoughts on what took place yesterday. I think I'm stunned that people are shocked that happened yesterday. We watched in 2020 people set fire to a police station with police officers inside. That happened. Now, once again, here's another thing. I'm not even saying left wing or right wing, because one thing that I can't tell who's doing what anymore. Mm-hmm. I have no idea if the people who burned down the police station in 2020 were Black Lives Matter supporters. Could have been right wingers, could have been Antifa. I don't know. All I know is a bunch of people burned down a police station, and that happened in 2020. They burned down the Wendy's in Atlanta. They burned down various places in various places in Kenosha, in Minneapolis. There was an autonomous zone in Seattle where a bunch of people were killed. Women were sexually assaulted because the police weren't allowed to go in and out. We watched all of that take place. Lack of law and order, a police not being able to do their jobs, civilians and citizens just acting any way they want to act. Why are we shocked that what happened yesterday happened yesterday? I have no idea. Mm-hmm. No idea. Now, the only possible rebuttal is, well, that's the state capitol, right? Like it's the Capitol building, and I hear that argument, but to me, I'm not buying it because if you will allow citizens to burn down a police station with police inside, if you will allow citizens to take over parts of a city like Seattle that they prevent police from coming in and out of, then I don't see it as a big jump that you will allow, like you said earlier, Shannon, people to just walk their asses into the Capitol building. Don't know what the reasoning for that was. My only guess is there is a police tactic where you kind of allow the crowd to run wild, hoping that they burn out. That happened in New York earlier this year when they were stealing from all of those stores down there in Manhattan. The police didn't come right away because you can kind of inflame the situation by having a heavy police response. And so sometimes the police will step back and allow you to burn yourselves out. But to me, if that was the strategy, that's insane because there are people inside the Capitol building.
Yeah, the Capitol building is one of our highest forms of government. I don't really think that is a logical strategy. If that was a strategy, I don't know if you read the article that I put in the rundown about the security fails of that day. Did you read that one?
No, that was today.
Yeah, I put it in there.
No, what it said? I'm gonna read it.
I don't. It was a really long article, but it was basically just giving different points of the police had many different opportunities to prepare for this, and they kind of just chose not to prepare for it. Basically, is what it said. But yeah, that's one of the highest offices in our, like, the fact that you can just walk in. Like, I don't think that's not a smart tactic. I just feel like, I don't know. I think there's conspiracy going on. I really do, because it was just.
No, I agree with you. So, like, even using the word conspiracies, it might be inappropriate because conspiracy almost creates doubt whenever somebody says conspiracy. Like, that was one element. What I'm not shocked that people ran into the Capitol because we live in a society where for periods of time people have been okaying, or maybe not okaying, but they have not been saying what needs to be said when political violence takes place. There's a book written called "In Defense of Looting." I think we talked about it. Was that me and you, or maybe it was me talking to somebody else?
No, I don't think.
But there was an NPR interview the author of the book where she was defending looting. Today I retweeted a title from Vox where Vox had a title earlier last year, or whenever the George Floyd protests were taking place. They had tweeted a title for the article that was kind of in defense of violence, and then suddenly today it is unacceptable. I'm going to read the title. It's short. I'm going to just read you the two titles. Hold on. Where is it? All right. So, Shannon, this was a Vox title during the George Floyd stuff that took place towards the end of it. It was written oh shit, hold on, I got my facts wrong. This, Shannon, was written in 2016. I'm gonna read you the title.
Okay.
Riots are destructive, dangerous, and scary, but can lead to serious social reforms. To prevent more violent uprisings and protests, we need to take their causes seriously. It was written by German Lopez. It was updated September 22nd, 2016, which means it was probably written before then. If I had to guess, this was in response to, back during the Obama era when we had like the Ferguson's and the Freddie Gray stuff. So that title seems very sympathetic to the people committing the political violence, correct?
No, not to the people that committed the political violence yesterday. I mean, I understand.
No. I'm saying,
what do you mean?
I'm saying this article that was written back during the 2016 time frame, it appears that it is sympathetic to those people back then when they were rioting.
Oh,
it says in the title, riots are destructive, dangerous, and scary, but can lead to serious social reforms. Correct. Here's what was written by the exact same author yesterday at 6:10 p.m. Every person who forced their way into the Capitol should be arrested. Lock them all up. Now, I don't understand how you can hold those two thoughts in your mind at the exact same time. And if I had to guess, because 4 years is a long time, or 5 years is a long time. German Lopez might not even remember what he wrote back in 2016. But it speaks to how people will defend political violence depending on the politics of the people committing the violence.
But
Go ahead,
what reason did these people have to do this? Because Trump lost the election and they what was the purpose?
I want to answer your question, but I'm not going to let you dodge mine.
Oh, what do you mean?
Why do people defend political violence if they agree with the politics of the people committing the violence?
Because I agree too. Rioting can be successful in regards to social reform when social reform is needed, that was not the case at all yesterday. These are people that are just sore losers and don't like the fact that Trump lost the election.
And see, Shannon is going to be a wonderful person for me to have this conversation with because she doesn't understand that she's talking to herself. There's somebody who ran into that building yesterday, Shannon, who is your doppelganger. They believe what they're doing is righteous and on the side of justice. I'm just saying, you can roll your eyes all you want, Shannon. You can roll your eyes.
It's not though. There was no reason to do it.
Shannon, hold on before you just just dismiss it. I'm just saying, everyone believes that their cause is just. Everyone believes that their cause is just. They believe their politics is right. And when you get into a space where you begin to defend violence for political reasons or even contextualize it.
Well, I'm sorry. Actually,
go ahead, Shannon.
Let me walk this back. Sorry. I don't always agree with riots. I agree with protesting. Protesting brings about social reform. Riots, I'm a little in the middle. I don't really know where I stand on that. But when it comes to destruction, death, and all this other stuff, I don't know where I fall on that spectrum. So I'm actually going to walk that back. Protesting, yes. Riots, I don't know. So I'm just going to walk that back. Sorry.
Okay, fair enough. I have no problem with you walking it back. But still, I think my kind of point where I was going remains the same, where people look at issues and if they let their politics dictate how they respond to violent uprisings that take place. And so you ask, okay, well, what were they protesting yesterday? They're just sore losers. There's nothing that they were protesting against or protesting for. And this is where I have to get into this to a point that I don't see being made, which is trying to understand the people who ran up into the Capitol yesterday. Right now, as always, I keep reminding people when you look at uprisings and people that disobey the law and they burn buildings down. If you've never been to a protest or a part of a mob, it is hard to explain how much electricity runs through a crowd. Mm-hmm. Right? As you guys always know, I tell the story all the time where I was originally a super left-wing guy. During the Mike Brown stuff, I joined a Black Lives Matter protest where I think it was the Brooklyn Bridge where we shut down and walked across it. It was an incredible feeling that I felt. I felt invincible. I felt like I could do anything. Now, in that case, we didn't do anything violent that night. But if something had popped off, I think my response would have been a lot more bold and aggressive than it would have been if I was by myself or in a smaller crowd. That is what crowds do to you. They electrify you. They embolden you. And I think what it does, it brings us down closer to our animalistic instincts where you are more likely to tear some shit up just because you are in a crowd. So you have that dynamic, excuse me, number one. Number two, I'm not even sure everyone who went there was there to protest. Like when I look at some of these pictures taken from what happened yesterday at the Capitol, you have people taking pictures in chairs, posing for the camera. You have people sightseeing.
Dumb, by the way, so stupid, huh?
Well, yeah, stupid because you're gonna go to jail. But my point is though, Shannon, those people
shows the IQ levels of Trump supporters. Though, continue. Mm-hmm.
I'm not. That's Shannon. I've seen similar things from your people, Shannon. Now,
okay. Mm-hmm.
Once again, but does the person that is posing in the chair like this? Does that seem like an angry person? No, they're there because there was a certain number of people that was at the Capitol yesterday that were there just because they was bored.
Yeah, but it's not even really, my gripe is not even really with the protesters, like the rioters. They're not even protesters, sorry. It's not even with them because, I mean, yes, it is with them to a degree, but my biggest gripe is with how it was handled. So I just looked this up because I wanted to know the stats on how many people were arrested yesterday. And it says that 52 people were arrested yesterday after hundreds of people broke into the Capitol building, a building that houses the highest form of government. But over the summer, between May 30th and June 2nd in DC, 427 unrest-related arrests were made in DC by itself. On June 1st alone, more than 5 times the number of people were arrested than on the day the Capitol was stormed. So I don't understand. I don't understand. Why are the cops helping people down the stairs and taking selfies with people instead of arresting people? What is happening?
So I do think I have an explanation for that. So just let me tie up what I was saying before a little bit, and then I'll address your questions. So you have the people who were there, for the rally. They're there to support the president. You get in the crowd, things get electrified. Then you have a certain number of people out there just because they're bored and they thought this would be a great event to go to. That exists for every protest anywhere, right? I've been wrestling with myself on what information people are getting about the election. I've said this on numerous occasions that the news you get now is different depending on your political affiliations, which usually means that your social media networks, that the people you follow on Twitter or Instagram, on Facebook, usually share similar politics that you do. And so there's like a constant loop of information from your side. And I've been trying to tell people that there's been information being given to people on the right that the election was stolen, that the election is not valid, that there are how to say this? Some fuckery took place with the votes, right? This is the information that they have been getting fed. I even said that on election day or the day after that someone who I view myself as to be kind of objective and decent, I'm smart, I think, and there was some evidence that I saw that seemed pretty damn interesting. We're okay. This is an interesting, piece of information. I think I do a good job in deciphering between conspiracies and legitimate information that maybe the mainstream media doesn't want you to see. But I'm not drowning in that information because I follow everybody on purpose because I want to know what everyone is thinking. I want multiple sources of information so that I can make educated decisions. That said, that's not what's happening in this country on either side. So in this particular case, you have people that Shannon that have been getting fed for months from the president himself, but also from just right-wing news around the president saying that there is a steal taking place, that Trump won, and then also the way that the results played out, where we didn't know who was president for days after, where places stopped counting and then picked up a couple of hours later. All of those things can make somebody who is a right-winger supporting president suspicious about the validity of the results. Do you at least grant that, given what I just laid out to you? Mm-hmm. I'm not saying you have to agree. I'm just saying,
no.
You understand the picture I'm painting?
I do understand the picture you're painting.
So if you tell 30 to 40% of the American public that for weeks, because remember, this happened after the election day up until yesterday. So that's a month and change. That almost 2 months that people have been getting fed this information that this is a steal. This is a steal. These results are not valid. Trump put together this rally. I can't tell because people seem to have two thought processes going on right now. Either A, Trump knows he lost, but he doesn't want to leave the presidency, so he's kind of manipulating people and using them to stage a coup. That's one thought process. There's another thought process that I had yesterday where Trump himself might believe that this is stolen.
He does believe that.
Okay, and if that's the case, Shannon, it helps explain a couple of things. It helps explain why he is so indignant on not leaving, on challenging the election results, on trying to get Mike Pence to switch the electors and all of this thing. Because see, here's the thing: if he believes he really lost, but he just doesn't want to leave, everything he's doing is evil. Versus if he believes in his soul that he won, right, and he's getting his information from right-wing news sources like the rest of the right-wingers, it makes the situation unfortunate, and it means we have a bigger problem here. That's what I'm saying. The people that stormed the Capitol yesterday were fed, I think, bad intel for weeks.
Well, yeah, of course they were. But
and so I don't hold them responsible for what happened. Sure, lock up who you have to lock up, do what you have to do. But if you want to truly, prevent things like this from happening in the future, because like I said, this is now happening on all sides. We saw people on this side burning down police stations with police officers inside, and now we got these people storming the state capitol. Where are we going next?
Mm-hmm. I do understand what you're saying, but again, not that I'm not at all siding with them. They're still terrible people. But again, my biggest problem was not with them. But my biggest problem was not with them. It was with
why are they terrible people?
What?
Why are they terrible people?
Because this is just my biased opinion about Trump supporters. So I'm not even going to go into details about that because it's not even relevant. It's just my bias.
It is relevant to me though.
Because this is my biased opinion of Trump supporters. Okay, yes.
But I'm asking why. I'm asking, but so you view all of those people as terrible?
I view all of them as not smart.
Okay, so why do you view them as not smart?
Because I just
no, I'm just asking. I'm not trying to put you on a spot or make you say something politically incorrect. I'm genuinely interested in people.
Okay, it's not that I don't view them as not smart. I mean, I do, but that's just for different reasons. I don't really. Okay,
what are the reasons?
I don't really but my gripe is not with the rioters. It is with them to a degree, but my problem, I don't even really care about them. Those are people over there. I just care about the way that it was handled. That's all.
So how would you like to? So wait. So what did you want to happen to them though?
I just don't understand why there weren't more arrests made. Why there weren't more arrests made. I don't understand why there wasn't such a chaotic scene to try to get order that we've seen over the summer. We've seen all of these live scenes of police tear gassing people, throwing tear gas bombs, shooting people with rubber bullets. I don't understand why this was so calm and collected. I don't understand why the police were pretending to be somewhat on a friendly level with these people. I don't understand.
Shannon, we've seen that sometimes. So sometimes the past summer.
So you don't think that this time when people stormed the Capitol building, which is supposed to have tight security, where important people are making huge important decisions, you don't think that should have been a time where all of that was happened, where that should have happened?
Here's what I would tell you. There should be no case where a bunch of civilians should be able to overrun security around the Capitol.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. Where my disagreement lies with you is, and I've seen multiple people say the same thing, kind of implying that if those people were black, they would have been, shut down and killed immediately. My gut says I agree. That's true. That said, I remember they allowed people to burn down a police station with people inside. And those people, they never got arrested. Nothing happened to them. The police ran as the station was being burned down. And so we saw a scenario where your people, burned down a police station, and it's kind of just like, nobody died. So I'm just saying that happened. Mm-hmm. I can't remove that from my mind because I saw it happen. I was here on my laptop watching on Twitter.
Okay, but then again, yes, but no one knew 5 days in advance that a police station was going to get burnt down. I just don't understand. The security around this situation was very lax all around. I just feel like they should have been prepared for something like this to happen because they knew it was happening.
So I agree with you there. You knew that they were coming to the Capitol. You knew that there was going to be angry people in the crowd. You knew what Trump was going to say at the rally because he'd been saying it since he lost, which is that this is stolen. This is stolen. Now, there are they are accusing Trump of inciting the violence. Do you think that's a fair charge? Because I don't.
Yes. What was his tweet? Sorry, I don't have Twitter, so I don't really know what his tweets leading up to it was. So I can't really speak on this with accuracy.
Okay.
I was trying to look him up to look at what he said.
I mean, you could just Google Trump tweets. It should be there. Although you probably going to get a bunch of articles.
A lot of his tweets were removed already because a lot of his tweets were removed by Twitter already. So I can't go back really and look.
So I don't think anything Trump did or say was inciting violence. And see, this gets me in trouble because people use these, screaming fire in a crowded building, that analogy that's used about free speech and the things that you aren't allowed to say. The problem with that analogy is it doesn't let you know what type of things that someone could say in real life is analogous to screaming fire in a crowded building.
He took a very long time to come out and tell people to go home. A lot of people had to call him out and tell him that he needs to tell people to go home. But I don't know. I feel like something like that should have been said as soon as the Capitol building was breached. I feel like it just took a while.
No, it did. No, but Shannon, I'm not arguing that Trump didn't handle this the right way. Matter of fact, I'll go a step further. I believe Donald Trump was happy that they raided that place.
Of course he was.
But that's different.
He doesn't care.
I agree. But that's different than saying that he incited.
Oh, yeah. I don't really know. I can't really speak to whether he incited it or not, just because I wasn't really following leading up to it. What was happening.
That's my only point. I believe Donald Trump wanted that. I think Trump wanted them to raid that place. I believe Donald Trump. And by the way, I believe yesterday was just a flex of his power, right? Because none of that was political. That's the thing. They're talking today about using the 25th Amendment to remove Trump or impeachment. But what happened yesterday wasn't political. That was just emotion. People love him. They believe him. And he flexed. And you saw what happened. And he didn't even tell him to do anything. That's the crazy part. So even if you do, by the way, all of this stuff is performative. Like all these people coming out saying that, they should impeach Donald Trump. They should use the 25th Amendment. It is all performative.
And
all
everyone that's resigning now 13 days before they would have been out of work anyway. Like, come on.
That's
like,
performative.
What is that doing?
Andrew Cuomo sending in the National Guard to DC, even though we're behind with giving out vaccines. That's performative. All of this shit is performative. Nancy Pelosi going up there is performative. AOC tweeting, impeach. Everything that you see, performative. It's her too, and I love her. I think she's going to be the first female president, but that's performative too. Everything after yesterday and until the 20th is performative. Even if they do remove Trump from office, they're only doing it because it suits everybody's politics, right? And so if Republicans do turn on Trump, it is simply because politically speaking, they have made the calculation that cutting with Trump now helps us politically in 2 years for midterms, and then in 4 years for the presidency. If they don't and they stick by Trump, it will be because it is good for them politically in 2 years and in 4 years. None of this stuff is genuine from anybody on any side of the political spectrum. And this leads to another angle of this that needs to be discussed, which is everyone played a role in creating this environment. Everyone. Let me start with my good friends, the media, who I despise. Everyone knows I've been saying for a while, the media is the enemy of the people. I've been saying that because I believe the media is the enemy of the people. None of them hate what happened yesterday. In fact, they all love it. Pause. Sidebar. Just for full transparency, I also enjoyed seeing the Capitol being overrun. Now, I don't know what it is, but since I was like 16, I get excited when things get chaotic. I don't know why. It's always happened. I like watching it. I like Now, I'm being honest. I have to be honest because that helps explain probably why I'm not angry. Shannon's upset and on fire. I'm curious and wouldn't mind 2 more days of this. Now,
I'm just upset because of the way it was handled. I'm not saying that is the only reason why that I am upset.
Totally get it, Shannon. And even if you were upset for other reasons, I wouldn't, be angry with you. Now, press play. I just press pause and press and play. The mainstream media loves this stuff, Remember, they make money based on how long they can get you to watch the news and how often, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is the main problem with the mainstream media that they are financially incentivized for sensationalism, not to inform you or to educate you. It is to make you to evoke emotion, because in 2021, the way the media and big tech, Twitter and Facebook is as well, they want to keep you on these apps as long as possible. People stay on these apps when they are emotionally charged. You are more emotionally charged by hatred than you are by love. Hate tweeting. Even Shannon, you said it that when you like read an article on Facebook, you used to go through the comments and like type back to all of the people and call them stupid and stuff.
Yes.
And you ain't the only one. A bunch of people do that stuff, which makes no sense, but it's because you are in a state of emotion. The mainstream media loves this shit. Don't believe anyone. I'm appalled and this is a sad day. They enjoy this because it helps their bottom line. Now, how did they contribute to this? Shannon will probably disagree, but this is my opinion. Since Trump won in 2016, what has been being said? That he didn't win the election. The Russians got him in. You have multiple people saying not my president. Right. And so since he got in 2016, a bunch of people have been claiming he's an illegitimate presidency. He stole the presidency, right? People from the right were saying Trump won fair and square, except the results of the election. You had articles being written between Obama losing the election and Trump gaining the power in January 20th. You had articles being written on if people could convince the electors to vote against their states. I remember reading those things. So the same thing people on the right are saying now was said. The same articles were being written from the left's perspective back in 2016. I remember reading them. The media, they hate Trump, excluding Fox and like some other right-wing places. Yeah. CNN, MSNBC, they hate Trump. Can't stand him. Hate the guy. They pretend like they don't like the fact that he lies. They pretend that they hate that, he's petty. He's not that intelligent, right? All the things that they accuse Trump of, the media themselves are guilty of. And so I don't believe them that they hate Trump because of the way he does things, because they do things the exact same way he does. They just hate him. And so they hate that he's doing it. But the media is the king of misinformation, disinformation, stirring racial tensions. We go through this all the time. When's the last time there's been a police brutality story with a white victim?
I don't know.
Even though statistically, raw numbers, I'm not talking about a percentage of the population, raw numbers, significantly more white people get their ass kicked by the cops than black people. Yet you don't see a single story that makes it onto mainstream media. Why not? Because the racial tension. Yes, it sells. And so they are guilty of doing all of the things Trump does. They just hate him personally. And so that's where the mainstream media plays a role, is because they haven't been out there being objective news sources. They are activists in a lot of ways. They leading towards the 2020 election when the Joe Biden, Hunter Biden stuff came out. And the New York Post, who tweeted a legit news article, Twitter didn't allow them they didn't allow the story to be spread in favor of Joe Biden. The mainstream media not reporting on Tara Reid, who accused Joe Biden of rape. Meanwhile, if there was anyone else, it would have been leading for the New York Times. They didn't want to damage him. They were working in concert to help him win the presidency. These things make you lose credibility with people who are already skeptical of you, mainstream media. That's the role that they play in this. Another angle that we have to look at, the Patriot Act came following 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the intentions of the people that implemented the Patriot Act. Maybe they were exploiting a tragedy in order to do something that they always wanted to do, or maybe that they thought this was necessary to combat terrorism. I don't know. They are going to do to the Capitol incident the same thing they did with 9/11. You are already seeing reports about kicking Trump off Twitter.
Yep.
Facebook announced that he's going to be suspended until the inauguration. His store was removed from Shopify.
Yes, it was.
His store. And so now, what are we seeing? We are seeing big tech, and I've been saying this as well. I've been saying big tech is also the enemy of the people. Big tech removing somebody when they haven't done nothing. Trump did yesterday was any different than anything Trump did a week before or 2 weeks before. And so this is an arbitrary act, an arbitrary step being taken. And there's nothing you can do about it because Twitter and Facebook, these are private institutions, private organizations. And so there is no free speech argument or First Amendment argument. And so I'm not even coming at this from the perspective of, hey, you guys are violating Trump's right for free speech. You have no right for free speech on platforms that are privately owned. But I want these platforms to remain free and open as much as possible. And so I'm trying to appeal to I'm trying to persuade people that we should be appalled that they're censoring Trump like this. And we should be. But now they are going to use this tragedy that happened on Capitol Hill to further cripple the speech on these web platforms, right? And I've already seen articles saying, hey, this, what happened on Capitol Hill was able to happen because they communicated on social media. You were already seeing the stories being pushed out there, pumped out there. Michelle Obama came out saying that she wants Twitter and Facebook to permanently ban Trump.
I mean, but he needed to be banned for other reasons, though, because all he does on his social media platforms is spread misinformation.
But who cares?
What do you mean?
Shannon.
I already know that we disagree on this topic.
Yeah, we do. Because you believe you know people are on Twitter and YouTube who believe the earth is flat.
Okay. But I feel like it's different when I feel like it's different when some random Joe is spreading misinformation. But I feel like it's different when somebody who's in a position of influence, such as the president, is using social media to spread lies and misinformation.
Shannon, you are framing this as if I am in favor of people spreading misinformation. I'm not.
No, I'm not framing it that way. I'm just saying that Donald Trump specifically needed to have his social media accounts banned because that's all he's been doing the entire 4 years of his presidency. It's just using his social media platforms to spout whatever he wants. And sometimes that information is not accurate. And I just feel like somebody, actually,
do you think Obama lied?
And I just feel like somebody who is at that level of influence should not be doing that or should not be allowed to do that.
Do you think Obama lied?
What? I mean, I'm sure he did.
Okay, so you believe he should have been kicked off Twitter?
No, but I'm saying when you're using your social media platforms to say ignorant and blatant and things that are blatantly not true, which he's done countless times.
As other presidents have done. So once again, would you have been... I'm asking the question. See, here's the thing with people who have that argument that he should be kicked off Twitter. Number one, these things never end with a single incident. And that's the fatal flaw with that argument. Like, oh my God, we need to do this for this specific thing. And they believe it'll stay on this specific thing, but it never stays on this specific thing. It always spreads. Freedom and safety are diametrically opposed to one another. The freer you want to be, the less safe you're going to be. The safer you want to be, the less freedoms that you have. Mm-hmm. And so you have to make a choice. Do you want freedom or do you want safety? And trying to protect people from being stupid by believing false things, trying to protect people's feelings from getting hurt. And so you kick people off because they say things that are problematic or racially insensitive or slightly sexist or whatever. The path you're going to walk down, Shannon, eventually me saying mother effer is going to get me kicked off of Twitter. But you probably will be in favor of that. And my thing is, these are private companies. They can do whatever they want to do. I'm trying to persuade people that this is a bad idea. That's what I'm trying to do. And also, another thing, doing this is just going to create more extreme echo chambers, because you already have echo chambers within Twitter. But then if you start kicking all the people off, guess what? They're going to start their own thing, and now you have further echo chambers, and it just exasperates the problem. I believe they are going to use this to infringe on to pressure, maybe not even pressure, because Twitter and Facebook are already working in concert with the Democrats, and Joe Biden hasn't even taken office. They haven't even been sworn in the Senate yet, and they're already so enthusiastic about crippling speech on social media platforms. Next, they're definitely going to go at the guns. Now, if you are in favor of gun restrictions, this is great news for you. I am not in favor of gun restrictions. I think America needs the Second Amendment. I just saw police get their ass kicked for an entire summer. So who's going to defend me if the cops can get run out of town like that? These are the things that are going to take place in the next year, 2 years especially, because the Democrats know they're probably going to lose the Senate or the House in 2 years. That's how this country is. It goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. They know that they're going to lose that battle. And so what are they going to do? They're going to try to put in, jam as much policies that they can through in the 2 years that they have the presidency, the House, and the Senate. Now, we'll see what happens, because if most of this ends up with a judicial review, the Supreme Court is still leans conservative, but they might expand the court. No, who knows what's going to happen? But I'm already seeing this here now. I see the writing on the wall. It took them a day before they kicked Trump off social media. They removed his store from Shopify. You defend that?
I have a biased opinion, so I'm not even going to say anything because I know you're going to disagree with it.
So you think that that Shopify should be able to remove Trump's store? Remember, they're not even a platform. People don't talk; they buy shit. Mm-hmm. So you think you think that's okay?
Okay. On a as a whole, no, it's probably not right. But I don't really feel sorry that Trump's store got removed from Shopify. But yes, it's probably not right. Yes, there you go. I agree with you.
It's not about feeling bad for Trump.
I know. That's what I'm saying. You're probably right as a whole, but I don't care that his store got removed from Shopify.
But that's the problem. See, you're not making noise. You're like, the way they do this, Shannon, they roll it out. You know what we are right now? We're crabs in a bucket. We're crabs in a bucket, and the fire's on low. And what do? You just turn the heat up a little bit. Eventually, you die because the temperature underneath you is getting turned up, and that's what's happening now. You start with Trump. You start with the guy that everyone hates. And then what do? You just a little bit, you more and more and more. And they've already kicked off people who said that, trans women aren't real women. And then, okay, well, I think that's insensitive. Okay, well, then more and more and more. And then an article was released recently that said that even after a year of taking hormones, trans athletes still have an advantage over women that were born female. Is that okay to say that? I don't know. No. And then more and more and more, and that's where this leads.
I know what you're saying. I understand the point that you're saying, and I agree with you. I agree with you. I'm not saying that what they did was right. I'm just saying that I don't care about Trump specifically, but I know it's not right.
This is the end of it.
That's my biased opinion. I already said that. It's my biased opinion. I understand the problem with it though, but that is just how I feel because I hate Trump. So that is my bias.
This is going to be the end of everything. Mark my words. Today is January 7th. I'm a true patriot, right? So I'm a guy. You guys know this. My politics. If I had to describe what I am on the political spectrum, I am the new anti-federalist. That is who I am. This is the beginning of the end of life as we know it on the internet. Trust you me, they come after that shit hard and fast. And a lot of you guys that are championing this and they're like, yeah, get Trump off of Twitter, get Trump off of Twitter. In 2-3 years, when it's your ass, there's gonna be like, oh my god, look at this. That's how it always is. It always plays out the exact same way. They would have kicked Martin Luther King Jr. off of Twitter. He was called the most dangerous Negro in America in the 60s. You don't think that if the tech we have now existed back then, they wouldn't have kicked his black ass off Twitter? Yes, they would have. This is bad news. This is bad news.
Mm-hmm.
We just have to get rid of everybody. We do. I'm turning into an anarchist. I'm turning into an anarchist because here's what I will say. The anarchists have been saying for a while that the problem is not the people, the problem is the state. And I didn't know what they meant for a long time. And I think I'm starting to understand what they're saying, which is you can plug how many people you want into these little roles, but them having the power to do certain shit over you is the problem. The Shopify stuff scares the hell out of me. The censorship stuff scares me, but the Shopify stuff scares the hell out of me. And we've talked before about how PayPal and certain places weren't allowing porn stars to use their platform to collect money. Why? If you're PayPal, your only job is to help people exchange currencies. You shouldn't care about what the people exchanging currencies are doing if they're doing something legal. I don't understand. But no, because sex work is dirty. Porn is dirty, Shannon. So people do what you just did. Oh, you know what? It ain't right, but it's porn. And then next thing you know, oh, you know, he's Trump. You removed the man's store for something political. It had nothing to do with you. Nothing. He didn't. You have no laws and bylaws that you can't. That if you say certain things, your store can get removed. So is that where we're going now? If I say something, my store can get removed, and you don't think it's going to come back to bite black people in the ass? Oh, okay. All right. We'll see. What's today's date? January 7th, 2021. You heard it here first. It's the end. It's game over, Shannon. It's game over. It's game over.
Listen, this is all falling on the fact that most people believe that he did incite these riots. I feel like if a riot didn't...
Who believes that?
Most people. That is why this is happening.
Shannon, they're being driven by emotion. And by the way, even if he did, what does that mean? To incite something. If there's a crowd and I say, you know what, we're gonna go march down to the Capitol. All of you right now, if you believe that there's been this injustice, you know what we have to do. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna march down to the Capitol right now and make our voices heard. Does that mean inciting something if they end up breaking into the Capitol? Is that what we're saying now? Once again,
no. Mm-hmm.
These are the rules y'all are making. And if you don't think these are going to come back around to bite us in the ass, you are sadly mistaken. I mean, didn't they just release a report from the FBI saying that they are monitoring black extremists?
Wait, what?
There was a report of something that came out during the Trump years that said the FBI was monitoring and worried about black extremists. I remember reading it. So once again, if you're going to say that the language of, you know what, let's go down there and march on the walls of this or that, or you know what, we're going to take over this, and people end up getting violent, that the person who said that statement can now be accused of inciting a riot. Is that what we're saying? Because that language is used all the time by people.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay.
The beginning of the end. I'm telling you.
I understand what you're saying, Jabari. I do.
Yeah, it's the beginning.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's the beginning of the end. I also think
Probably.
Yeah. I also think people just need to remember Trump is only here for literally 2 more weeks. Which is another crazy thing about people. Oh, we're going to impeach Trump now. It's all symbolic.
Well,
They want
that's
to
what I
win.
was saying. I was saying that none of it makes sense and none of it means anything because he's literally on his way out. These are his final days, so there's no point.
But it does mean something if you set a certain precedent. If you do something that affects him after he leaves, because it then affects us. That's what I'm saying. So it's performative because these politicians don't actually care about what Trump ass is out of there. Everyone knows that. And I'm not even saying that what happened yesterday wasn't scary. If I was a politician in the Capitol, I probably would have been terrified for my life. Angry people, you don't know what they're going to do. When angry people get in the crowd and they storm a place, you don't know what they're going to do. They could hang you, they could stone you, they could stab you, they could shoot you. I'm sure that a couple of those people were terrified out of their lives, hiding underneath their desks like a bunch of bitches. Guarantee that was a couple of them.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that those of us who weren't there should turn off our brain from having rational thought and rational conversations and looking at things for what they are and saying, this is the wrong takeaway from what happened yesterday. Once again, I believe Trump was probably overjoyed of what happened yesterday because I was happy.
Why were you happy?
Remember, I told you I'm attracted to the chaos.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not proud of this. I'm just saying it because I want people to be. I want to be honest. That there are certain people out there like myself. And by the way, there are more of us than you think. We are just naturally attracted to chaos. I don't ever want to be a part of it, I don't think, but I always get like a rush of excitement when I see things like what happened yesterday. Mm-hmm. Even when I watch y'all tear up stuff during the summer. I was like, this is stupid, but I was still glued to my Twitter. I was like excited up late at night.
Who's y'all? I wasn't tearing up anything during the summer.
Your people, Shannon. The people you support. Don't hide now.
Okay.
Don't hide now.
Okay. I'm not lying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So everyone has a role to play in this. The media, they are Trump. They just don't like Trump. They do the same stuff that Trump does: lie, manipulate, fake news, misinformation, disinformation. They do all of that stuff. They are the enemy of the people. Big tech is the enemy of the people. It is going to be hard to fight these things. They are coming for your First Amendment. They are coming for your Second Amendment. They are coming for your right to assembly. These are the laws that are going to be changed and challenged in the next couple of weeks, probably years even. From January 20th up until the midterms, you need to be watching and you need to be terrified. And buy every gun you see, all of them, all legal guns. Buy the pistols, by the revolvers, by the shotguns, by the AR-15s, all of them, because they're coming for that too.
Okay.
Yeah, Shannon doesn't agree.
Are you buying a gun to buy?
Well, I can't buy one in New York City, but if me and you live in the South, I'll buy you a gun because you need one. They are coming. They are coming. I know I sound crazy now. I sound like a black Alex Jones, but just know this. Because I get it. I know how I sound right now. I sound ridiculous. Just know this. Most people who end up being right in the future sounded crazy when they said what they had to say. And I don't even think I'm that far off. I think if you really sit down and listen to what I'm saying and you close your eyes, you see a little bit of what I'm saying take place right now. Michelle Obama just asked for Twitter to ban him permanently. Permanently. They've been saying for a long time that hate speech isn't free speech. So that if you say something hateful, you should face prosecution. They want to get rid of that stuff. And now they have the legal path to do it outside of the Supreme Court. And they're going to try. So buckle up. Like I said, Trump, he's gone January 20th. He is gone. He's out of here. Adios, amigos. You ain't never have to see that man again. He's out of here. But everything that they're doing now, the way they're framing certain conversations right now, that's going to be with us forever. And that's what I'm fighting against, because I am the new anti-federalist.
Oh, God. Okay.
Shannon, you have anything else you want to say? Go ahead, Shannon. Let me have it.
I don't disagree with what you're saying. I'm just saying I don't really like how it's handled. That's all I'm gonna say. It was not handled right. It was poorly handled. I feel like they knew it was happening and they didn't care. So that's what I'm gonna say.
Oh, so before we leave, let's discuss that point. 'Cause I don't think we've given enough conversation to. Do you think how much of this was planned? Because I saw the video like you did of the police. I don't know if it was the Capitol Police. And one thing we have to
I think
separate.
it might have been Capitol Security. I don't know, but you saw it like when they kind of like moved out of the way for them to come in.
I saw it, and I was like,
like,
all
it
right,
was all okay and dandy. Okay, like,
but once again, I don't believe that you could take over the Capitol unless you want the Capitol to get taken over.
that's what I'm saying. That's
now,
what I'm saying.
Who's in charge of what? I don't know. I don't know if Trump is responsible for Capitol security. I have no idea. I hope not. You would think somebody.
I don't think Trump is responsible for that. I think it's Congress. I read that earlier.
Yeah, but no, but there has to be a yes, it's Congress, but I'm assuming there will be a specific person that is responsible.
Yeah, but I don't think it's the president though.
Yeah, so I have no idea who it is, but look, I think someone wanted. So now, I don't believe Trump instructed those people to do anything. I don't believe Trump incited anything. In fact, while me and Shannon was doing the podcast, something came that said, White House condemns violent U.S. Capitol breach without taking responsibility, calls for people involved to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, which I expected. Meaning, I don't think Trump called for anything. I believe he wanted something to happen. It happened. He's glad that it happened. It probably makes him happy because like, the dude is a narcissist. He's like many of his predecessors. He cares a lot about himself. He's very egotistical, and so it absolutely overjoyed him seeing people who love him storm the Capitol in defense of him. I don't believe he cares for these people.
No, he does not. He doesn't care for a single person.
And 4 people died. But me and Shane disagree. I don't think any of these people care about you. None of them. Maybe 10% of them do.
Okay, yeah. Okay, but I'm not talking about everybody else. I'm talking about specifically Trump. So you guys stormed the Capitol. 4 people lost their lives that day. For what? For a man that doesn't care about you.
But that's from your perspective. From their perspective, it was in defense of the person they believe rightfully won against these people trying to take over the country. Remember, they're getting fed one narrative. You and me and everyone else are getting fed another narrative. And that's how we, decipher information. Then you sit in front of CNN or MSNBC all day long and get fed with propaganda because the shit ain't news. It ain't news. These people ain't journalists. When the last time they unveiled some shit, Shannon? They're not journalists. They are arms of the state now. That's what they are. The DNC, the RNC. The DNC has MSNBC and CNN. The RNC has Fox News. And the reason why the RNC has one network is because Fox News is still a bigger audience than both of them combined, CNN and MSNBC. Most of y'all don't know that because we don't watch Fox News. We think it's an old channel. Fox News, old people love Fox News.
Oh yeah,
they love Fox News. So yeah, I think me and you agree that someone wanted this to happen. It was very easy. And by the way, no one really got hurt, which is another thing that makes me think that this was kind of just like really no one got hurt. No one.
Were there no injuries?
No one in the Capitol got hurt. Like the Trumpers, I think 4 people died.
Yeah.
One woman got shot, but it was not for a quote unquote riot. It was a very tame riot. A lot of happy faces and smiles for it to be a riot. So
had to have been a happy riot for cops to escort people down the stairs and off the premises.
Shannon, did you want them cops to just beat that old woman's behind? Is that what you're saying, Shannon? I hope it's not. I
wanted them to do something else. Why didn't they arrest her?
She's an old woman.
So what? She was still there.
Do we know that she stormed the Capitol?
She was in the building, which is still not where she's supposed to be.
Yeah, but a bunch of people went inside after they stormed it.
Yeah, but they weren't. You're still not supposed to be there. You're not even supposed to be on the steps.
I agree
right
with
there.
You.
That's a breach. So
what would you have liked to see them do? Just kick her old ass on the stairs, huh?
Just arrest her. Did they arrest her after they escorted her down the steps, or did they just let her leave?
Do you know? I don't know.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Did they
Okay?
arrest the guy did the cop arrest the guy after he took a selfie with him? Did they arrest him after
See,
he took a selfie with the guy?
Okay, now that actually can be defended. He was probably trying to de-escalate, which makes sense, right?
But
Because he was still outside.
No, that was inside.
Wait, so he took a picture with him inside?
Yes, inside the building.
All right, that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All I'm saying is, so I think just to wrap this up, I think me and you agree. So what do we agree on? I don't know what we agree on.
We agree that it was weird the way that it was handled, and that
yes, we agree that,
and that was probably planned to a degree.
Yes, we agree on that. Other than that, I think this situation is being scale of 1 to 10. How big of a deal do you think what happened yesterday is?
8, maybe 7, 8. Nope, 8. I'm gonna stick with 8.
I was gonna say 7, which is weird. I think it's a 7 because of the location and what it represents, the Capitol.
Yeah.
But Joe Biden. Oh, one more thing we have to discuss. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm keep doing this. Stop saying this isn't America. Whether it's Joe Biden.
Yeah. I disagreed with what he was saying. That part. I disagree. When he was saying this isn't America, I disagreed with that wholeheartedly.
I don't understand how people can say that when America was founded off the backs of political violence.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is not an exaggeration. The 4th of July is coming up this year. What do we celebrate for the 4th of July? American independence.
I don't celebrate the 4th of July. Mm-hmm.
Dude, yeah, Shannon is one of those Juneteenth people. I'm a real American. We're celebrating us winning our independence from the crown. And guess what? We didn't win that independence because of a fierce conversation that we had. No, we killed a bunch of those people. The founders of America were traitors. They just happened to win. Mm-hmm. So they're celebrated. If they lost, we'd be speaking the King's English, and our history books would say on July 4th, this is when the traitors rebelled against the crown, and then they were subdued by the heroes, sir this or sir that or whatever. That's what the history books would say. They happened to win. But those people committed acts of political violence. So when people say America doesn't do this or violence is not acceptable, how do politicians square away that the most powerful country in the history of mankind was founded off of political violence? So how can you then say that political violence never works? It's insane. Mm-hmm. Insane. Now, I believe violence is a tool. Right? I've said this before. I have my two belt analogy. Violence is a tool. Forceful conversations is a tool. Politics is another tool. I think violence always creates more problems than it solves. That is different than saying I'm against violence. I'm not. I eat animals. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I eat animals, which means that I support the killing of animals to serve my own hunger. I don't have to kill animals. I could live off of nuts and grass and mm-hmm. I could, but I like meat. So mm-hmm. I don't have the guts to kill my own animals. So I allow people to kill animals mm-hmm. in horrible conditions. Mm-hmm. Look up factory farming.
No, I already know.
Awful. Mm-hmm. But I allow it to feed my hunger. Mm-hmm. And so already there are conditions in where I support violence depending on the outcome. Political violence to me is stupid because it is almost never going to give you the outcome that you want. In order for it to give you the outcome that you want, you have to use political violence to like the nth degree, meaning a war where you kill a significant number of people, the side gives up, they go away, and they leave you alone. If you aren't prepared to go to that degree, then I think you should stay away from political violence. And so to me, it's less about more moral and morale and more it's a bad strategy. Mm-hmm. Well, people come out saying, oh, we're better than this. And how? You are the president of a country that was founded by traitors who won. Mm-hmm. And so I just hate that it's dishonest. I know why they say it. Politicians need for us to be obedient. I get it. You can't have a state if people don't believe in law. So you need law and order. And so you say stupid shit like that all the time. But it is untrue. Political violence does work if used properly, if used with much thought and consideration behind it. I just don't think anything that you want, I think you can achieve it without political violence in 2021. And so, yeah, I'm more against senseless violence than I am against violence as a concept. If you're pro-police, you support violence. If you're pro-military, you support violence. If you eat meat, you support violence. So, yeah, just stop saying that, Joe Biden and everybody else. It annoys me for some reason. Now, for real now, anything else you have to say?
No, I just think it's going to be interesting. How many days do we have until inauguration? 13, something like that. I just think it'll be interesting. 13 or so days, just seeing, I just want to see how many people resign. I just want to see what happens, leading up to it. It's very interesting. It's like the season.
It's like the season finale of The Apprentice.
It's like the last two, the last 2 episodes of a season. You have something big, and then it like calms down.
Like Game of Thrones, how the episode before the last one was the one with the big battle scene.
Yeah.
That was yesterday.
Yeah.
And so tomorrow we find out if Jon Snow stabs Trump in the heart. I will say this though. They might want to tweak this lame duck period. I know why it exists, but we live in the 21st century. It doesn't take this long to transfer power anymore. It used to. So just for some historical context, the reason why we have this time period between the election and the next president sworn in is because before, back in the earliest days of the country, you needed this much time to realistically transfer power. You got to bring your family and bring other people. You were traveling by horse, and you had to go, up to wherever. I don't know if the White House was still in D.C. or if it was in Philadelphia, whatever it was at the time. It took time, physical time, to get things together, to get cabinets, to move families. And so you need this amount of time. You don't need the election finished November 5th. The president should be sworn in at the end of November. There's no reason we need 2 months. Inexcusable. They might want to change that, I think. A bunch of shit needs to change. Get rid of the electoral college too while you're at it. 1 vote per person. Let's do the damn thing. Then this way we get away from all of this conspiracy theories of this state or that state. No, whoever wins the raw votes win. That seems fair to you, right?
Yeah. I agree. That does seem fair.
I mean this for real this time. Anything else you have to say?
No. I think I'm done now.
Okay, yeah, and I'm finished too. This is a very, very good show. Went 1 hour and 12, but I think this is this was a much. I think we were responsible. I think we were passionate without being emotional. I think we help people look past Trump into big picture issues with censorship and information and whatnot. Yeah. So I think we did a good job. Of course, I probably remember something I want to say after this is done. Probably you will as well. But look, for right now, this is where this ends. Thank you once again for listening to the podcast. So much for 2021 being different.
Well, we knew that the beginning of 2021 was going to be different. Maybe the end.
Well, you were the one that said that everything that made 2020 bad is still going to be with us in 2021. So you weren't really expecting
like
to change.
The first half of it. Like, I don't know, like, why, if you thought that this year was going to magically be better, that is not true at all. Like I said, we're basically still in 2020 right now. Like I said, maybe the end of the year, the last half of the year, we might start to get a little better, but we'll see.
We will see. I hope it does get better. But thank you once again for listening to us. We are the host of Black Column, and we will see you guys next Thursday or Friday. Next Friday.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
Stay safe. Please stay safe, and hopefully we make it to January 20th in peace. Godspeed.
Yes. Bye.